Oh.
Well,
let's introduce Scott here first. This is Scott and Angelina.
Hi there.
Scott and Angelina from On the Fly. We're going to talk about On the Fly, but tell us about...
Well, supposedly the way that they met first was through Superman.
Yeah, that's true. You're right, actually.
Where Nicolas Cage was supposed to star as Superman, Kevin Smith had written a script, and Tim Burton was supposed to direct it, and then it just didn't get off the ground.
Right, because Nicolas Cage wasn't, they didn't think he was hunky enough.
And when they hired Tim Burton, the first thing that he did was to actually fire Kevin Smith. So that's why they started to fight.
There's all sorts of,
Ooh. A bunch of gossip.
Mysterious world, yes.
Okay, so Scott and Angelina, you guys are from On the Fly. And Mathieu and I were both talking about this. We're like, holy shit, what a cool concept. So Angelina, just explain to us what On the Fly is.
When we were chatting earlier, you had it down pat that the concept came out of people's need to get work produced, and that it's really hard in this country, funding cutbacks and stuff like that. And
anywhere.
It's hard. Yeah, that's true. Hard anywhere. But there seems to be a bit more get up and go in some other countries. Here, it's really tough for people to get their projects off the ground.
Meaning making a movie or making a documentary or something.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, and generally, I mean, any kind of creative thing in this country. So we stuck with film and video, and essentially we said, look, if you can get equipment for people, cheap, and if you can get them to come up with a creative idea, give them a deadline, and that's all they need. And so that was the simple essence of the concept.
Okay, and it's grown into, there's a bit more rules now, right, Scott? It's a 24-hour thing?
Yeah, this is the 5th year we're going into, and creative is one thing that independent filmmakers are good at, being creative, because through the process we thought we'd make it a little more refined so people knew what they were up against, and as they did they would break the rules along the way, so we figured out new rules. So the idea is it's got to be shot in one day on the camera that we give you.
Which is like a Canon XL?
Which is this camera right here. We shot the last 2 festivals on the Canon XL1, which is a great little camera because it's so light and yet so
great quality.
High definition, great quality.
It's broadcasting quality, another question.
Yeah, absolutely. And they just brought out another one, like they're going to in about 2 weeks, called the XLS, which is another version that we're going to probably be shooting the next On the Fly on.
Wow. So they get 24 hours and they go
24 hours to shoot. Okay. 1 day to shoot. Then you get 24 hours to cut.
Okay.
And then we
Do you guys have edit suites for them?
Yes. We give you the camera, we take it away at the end of the 24 hours.
Wow.
That's
where the pressure is.
Exactly, where we get to control it. And they go into the edit suite, we kick them out after 24 hours. When in fact, it's actually 2 12-hour sessions on 2 different days.
So people do sleep.
We found that was one of the mistakes in the creativities. People get slappy and sleep deprived after 20 hours. So you're saying, it was probably a better way to do this.
But everyone has to have an overnight shift and a daytime shift.
Oh my God.
So.
Because we know that the best memories are happening at midnight or after midnight.
That's right. 2 a.m.
Yes, don't
brainstorm.
So, and when you guys started this, you're like, oh, I wonder if anybody will do it, and now you have so many people that you need to sort of cite.
It started differently. It started differently. Unfortunately, Andrew couldn't be here, but Andrew really had the best brainstorm because he's a very resourceful guy, and he hates to see cool people with neat ideas not get their shit done. So he's the one who said. Andrew is the co-producer.
Andrew B-E-E. And
Andrew B. He's right here on my thing.
He trains a lot of people in On the Fly, and he's sort of the guy who came up with it. You can't miss him. He's about 6'7". So
he's the founder guy.
That's why he's all your friends.
Yes.
That's right. He's our security guard when we take the camera away.
Good idea.
But he's the one who came with the idea, and he essentially did get a group of his friends together. And he said, I'm tired of you guys not making your films and videos. So he's the one who went and, sweet talked the camera people and sweet talked equipment people and sweet talked some editing folks. And he supplied stuff, and he said, we're all going to do stuff within a week. And I think, what did they do, 17 the first time around?
Yeah, there were 17. That's how I met Andrew. I shot one of the first ones.
Wow.
And we didn't know what we were doing. It wasn't 24 hours. It was hodgepodge. And then after that first one, a lot of people came, packed out the theater. It was like, oh, this is kind of good. Let's try it again. And then it was 24 hours. And then it has become even more refined. I can add a few more rules to that. It has to be narrative. It's easier to cut a story when you go into an editing room than it is to cut a documentary or an experimental piece.
Okay.
That's true.
Because that takes you more time to refine it.
And how long is the finished product usually?
Under 10 minutes.
Okay,
It's got to be under 10 minutes or it doesn't screen.
No, you don't have time anyway to do something in more than 10 minutes if you want to do something.
And so then do you guys have a film festival of some sort at the end where everybody shows their work? Okay, and so how many completed works do you usually get?
Now it's 24. So
Really?
it's shot in 24, cut in 24, and we screen 24.
Really?
Sounds pretty easy. Not too many numbers to remember.
Exactly.
But
Basic
very
numbers
good.
to remember,
Yeah.
exactly.
And so how many applications will you get, and how many will you be able to?
24.
Oh, well, obviously 24 will you get.
Last year we had over 300.
Oh my God.
And we really hadn't done much promotion either. It was pretty much by word of mouth. And last year was when we got the idea that we need to bring this idea to other cities in the country, because we were starting to get a barrage of emails.
Right, they were like traveling from
like
across the country.
Saskatoon,
Yeah.
people saying,
Well, people
we
in
do it on the
Saskatoon
fly
want to
here?
see what the result looks like. So let's just watch it and we'll be right back.
excellent.
Te busqué, Yolanda, y no estás, Yolanda. ¿Dónde estás, Yolanda? ¿Qué pasó, Yolanda? Te busqué, Yolanda.
Oh, hey, Susie. How's it going?
Y no estás, Yolanda.
Yeah.
Tus ojos me miraron, tus labios me besaron, con ese como ardiente,
Okay.
ardiente de mujer. La luz de tu mirada, el fuego de tus labios, le echaron a mi pecho y de ti me enamoré. ¿Dónde estás?
Hey, what's taking so long?
I'll just be a second. I gotta
¿Qué
go.
pasó,
Okay.
Yolanda?
Yeah, let go. Hey! What happened?
Nothing. I just broke a mirror.
Well, we don't have time for this. We gotta get going, all right?
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go. We're late.
When I was just a little girl, I asked my mother, what will I be? Will I be pretty? Will I be rich? Here's what she said to me. Que sera, sera.
I take vitamin A for my night vision. A woman has to be alert walking around the streets at night and things like that. And then I take vitamin C for the same reasons anyone takes vitamin C. And iron tablets because I don't eat meat anymore. And oh no, with all those bovine diseases around, like mad cow disease and whatnot. And you know, you eat that stuff for too long and you end up giving birth to children with like 6 heads and 5 arms and testicles and tentacles. And I don't want a deformed child.
364 and a half days.
Okay,
A
we're just
movie
trying.
with a protein shake. I mean, that's the way to make movie,
It's the
right?
ultimate mid-tier
Oh, yeah.
film. All right, so you guys were talking about, then just so everyone knows, that was an example of one of the films that was made last year.
Right.
And you're talking about, you have 5 cities now that are doing it?
Yes, 5 cities. We're going to be in Vancouver, Winnipeg, Halifax, Montreal, and Toronto.
Okay.
Simultaneously.
And 24
You
people in each of the
yourself will
cities.
be in
Yes.
5 different cities
Oh,
now.
yeah. That's the stem cell cloning, yes. So yeah, in each of them, and that'll be 120 videos across Canada.
Okay.
Oh my God.
So, and I want to talk about the lottery thing so people understand how they get picked. So they can apply on your website, which is?
onthefly.org.
Okay, onthefly.org.
Very simple.
Onthefly.org. You can apply on the website, and I just want people to understand that anyone can get chosen to do this.
Absolutely. There's only a couple of restrictions, and it's just with the groupings.
Right.
So that half of the people out of the 24, half of them are going to be people who have never directed anything before. And the other half are going to be people who have had a bit more experience
Okay.
in film or video production.
Okay.
And then we have some guest directors. They don't count in the 24.
Okay. So the point is, it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter how much experience you have. All you have to do is apply, and you have just as good a chance as anybody else who's applied.
Absolutely.
To make it.
That's
We
Okay.
good
literally
experience for
cut up
everyone.
little pieces of paper with the names and we pull them out of
And
the
you pull it
hat.
out. So it's very technical.
Right?
Yes.
Yes, exactly. Try to keep it as lo-fi as the festival.
We
right?
have a team of scientists working on
How we picked them out of the hat.
Tupperware
So
bowls
my
around
question
the
to you
clock.
guys is, you're in 5 different cities, you've got all this equipment, wonderful things are happening, people are getting their projects made. How was this all funded?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
Is
Go
it
ahead, by all
founded?
means. Yeah, well, we're in the
Is
midst
this a
of that
highly
right now.
No. Christ, no.
Yes, the Cartagena.
But you know what? It comes back to the same thing. Raising money in the country is difficult, right?
Okay.
But there's a bit of government funding, like Toronto Arts Council, Canada Council. Each of the cities has had arts councils that have given money. We have great corporate sponsors. CBC is going to be the presenting sponsor, so everyone gets to have their stuff broadcast nationally.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So we were very happy with that. And
For young directors, I mean, that's so
yeah,
important.
absolutely. It's perfect promotion and profile for them. And Canon has been amazing. They've been with On the Fly from the beginning. And they're really responsive too, because Scott was talking about the new camera that they're coming out with. We gave them tons of user feedback and said, look,
This is what
improve the
people love,
camera.
and this is what they had trouble
This
with.
Shoot in
Exactly.
24 hours with one of these things, you get to figure out pretty quickly what works for you and what doesn't.
What doesn't work.
And gives instant feedback.
But it's also that you fall in love with a camera like this.
Absolutely.
After 24 hours, you want your camera. So I'm sure that,
Yeah.
you know, even for Canon, it's a really good deal. Just
actually,
for that.
this is from one of the people that shot On the Fly, the last On the Fly. She went out
Yeah,
and bought
she
a
bought it.
camera.
Really?
Exactly.
So we're just
Yeah.
borrowing it for the night kind of thing.
So I want to know what the male to female ratio is in applicants. Do you get a lot of women wanting to direct, or
Yes.
do you really?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
yes.
I think because they see it as an opportunity.
And
you know?
because of the lottery, it's like there's no,
no
selection
discrimination.
process.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
open to chance. And in fact, I think it was, for whatever reason, it was about a 50-50
Yeah, it was
ratio.
pretty much split.
Wow.
And all those festivals you go, and there's always like some movies that blow your mind because they're so good, and some movies that are so bad that it's embarrassing. And I know you can't say that it's true
No, we
because
do.
you know,
We do. We admit it. We admit it. There's some that are unbearable to watch, and
Yeah.
everybody disagrees about which ones they are, though. That's
Yeah,
the
that's
thing.
true.
And on
That's
top
true.
of it, the best thing about the festival and the gimmick that the one person once said, it was a joke that they told. It's the festival with the built-in excuse, right? Because you can go, hey, but I shot it in 24 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
And the guy goes, yeah, okay, all right. You at least kept it in focus.
well,
so
because that's
congratulations.
almost what you said when you talked about the one that you direct. You said, well, I only had 17 hours. I didn't have all the time that they had at the beginning. So already there I was able to feel like a little excuse.
Absolutely. There was that, and it still works, because if you go and you watch something that's not so great, you're still like, well, I can do better. And I think that's what has happened through On the Fly. People have watched it, and the ones that weren't so good, it inspires them to go out and shoot. And to be honest, the festival is not around for the festival's sake. The festival is supposed to be an inspiration to everyone. So that everyone watching and everybody that goes to the website, we've got a whole section of the website that says how to shoot your own movie.
Right.
We don't want you to necessarily wait for On the Fly. We'd love
Just
for
go
everybody
do
to
it,
apply.
yeah.
Please apply. But shoot your own movie.
Yeah.
Because,
and the other thing too, you know, and not to be negative about it, but a lot of people think, I'm gonna make movies when I grow up. I'm gonna be a film director. I have all these great ideas. And then they do it and they're like, this is harder than I thought. Or, you know what, I'm not cut out for this.
Or I don't have the leadership, or like there's
or maybe
tons of things that you
maybe
need
I
to
was
be a
I'm
great
really
director.
great with the camera, but I hate editing. I hate being in the edit suite, and this is an opportunity to
This
figure
is a
out.
good, cheap
But-
opportunity.
And one of the things on the
Yeah.
website too, there's a database that we've created now where people can sort of register themselves into the database, and then other people can go and search, and you do it based on skills. So if you're
Oh,
looking
so if you
for
need
someone
an
to do
AP,
editing,
or if you need oh wow.
Absolutely.
I'm really not going to play the bad cop here, but for me, doing an experience like this, it's like doing a BA in communication studies, because really, when you do a BA for 4 or 3 years in Quebec, you don't do anything practical. You don't know if you like it or not. You do one little thing like this, and believe me, I really think that just through the process and
Yeah.
everything that goes in your mind, you learn so much.
I got a film
Absolutely.
degree. I've got a film degree. Part of my getting involved and wanting the festival to happen was watching final year films that people were spending $10,000, $12,000 on
Yes.
that were unwatchable. And you're
Yes.
looking at them and going, how is that possible? If you're going to make mistakes, make cheap ones.
Yeah.
Yes, and at least you don't have the debts after. Because so
Absolutely.
many of my friends in film studies still pay their debts, and they work in a Burger King or some better job than this. But still, you know, like you spend so much money to do films that are often unwatchable.
Yeah.
And it's fun to watch a film unwatchable when they spend 24 hours on it, but it's not when they spend like a full year to
Yeah.
Absolutely.
raise the money
and
and try to make something.
no, that's a really good point. And most people spend just a few $100s, you know, and it's primarily on food
Few
to
props
feed,
and
feed
yeah, a
the people
couple
who are working
sandwiches, a
with
couple
them.
coffees from Tim Hortons.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're all set. Well, this is great. I want to say the website once again is onthefly.org.
Yeah.
And when exactly does On the Fly take place? this year? What's the date?
It's going to launch this fall.
Okay.
Late in the fall. We don't have an exact date yet because we need to make sure all the cities are going to be properly coordinated.
Right.
We'll definitely come back in November to tell you exactly when things are happening.
All right.
And the lottery will probably happen in December sometime.
Okay.
Which means people will be shooting in February.
You see, right after the Loft Gen, we have to present something.
You're roasting.
Go team.
Yeah, she's in. I can
Hanging
tell.
from a noose and we'll do this chorus scene. I'll be like, oh
Take
my God. We have like 20 seconds. I just want to know who's the greatest filmmaker in your eyes.
Oh God, I'm not even gonna answer that
You
question.
can't say it?
No, I have too many
You're gonna
people
have
that
to
I
come
think are
back, Scott.
amazing. So
Okay.
I'll think about
Can
it.
you tell us one, Angelina? Someone that you love. They never disappoint you.
They never disappoint me?
Yeah. Filmmakers.
I'll say
She's thinking about all the filmmakers that she had sex with, and she's like, which one?
I'm going to say someone I've only seen one film, so
Okay.
I couldn't have been disappointed.
Okay.
It was brilliant. It was Theo Angelopoulos.
And he's great.
He's great, exactly.
And it was great.
Yeah, Landscape in the Mist.
Cool. All
Obscure.
right.
Thank you
Theo,
so
there
much.
we go. Thanks for the
over.
strip, brother.
My pleasure. It's just
fun.
once in a I'm off. Normally I had so much fun tonight.
I know. We'll check out the
you.
Lofters at 9:30
Thank you,
and
viewers.
mailbox
Oh, yeah.
from 10 to 11.